Hey everybody, welcome back to another dicondissectional production hosted by Deathstroke9. Today I want to talk about the group 21 Pilots. I've actually had a couple different people request their music, and I've heard a couple songs on the radio. I never really got the hype around this band, and I've never really done any research into their music. And the other night, I went and looked them up and tried to listen to an album. And I got a lot of it felt very. I didn't love it. I didn't love everything I was listening to. The songs were good, but generally not something I would probably come back to over and over again. That being said, okay, I'm starting with this part of the story because it gets more. All right, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to listen to an album, and the album was called Trench. The song Levitate kind of stood out to me as being cool, and Chlorine was really good as well. And anyway, I did finish the entire album, but one song stood out to me among all the rest, mainly because of the lyrical content and what Tyler is saying in the song Neon Gravestones. And the first time I listened to it, I cried. Because of that, I want to feature it on the channel. So I have heard it before. I heard it just a couple of days ago. I kind of wanted to collect my thoughts a little bit after hearing the lyrics to this one because it hits very close to home for me. I've heard many, many, many different artists try to take on this subject matter. And normally, I feel like, especially in today's... I don't even know how to word this. The song is about suicide. But the way that he approaches it is, in my opinion, much healthier than a lot of other artists do. Because I have... had what I would call intrusive thoughts before. And I really don't think listening to something like Last Resort by Papa Roach or something like that will ever help with those types of thoughts, And a lot of media right now and the culture among people in my age group seems to glorify and put that on a pedestal and turn it into a statement. A lot of people, it seems, have tried to turn suicide into a statement, but for like teenagers or young adults, which and I've always thought this is kind of awareness is a good thing, and there being help is a good thing, and there being compassion and empathy, that's good. I've been in a few different relationships in my life, and I've had people threaten to, kill themselves if I didn't do what they wanted me to do, and I feel like I've always wished that there was some form of media out there that wasn't so glorifying or dramatizing of this type of stuff. And anyway, this song, I've been talking for way too long now, but anyway, this song is that. And I've never heard anyone put these thoughts that I've had myself into words like this, so I wanted to feature it on the channel. Here we go. The song's called Neon Gravestones. Thanks for listening to all that random ranting. Let's see if I've got lyrics.
What's my problem? Well, I want you to follow me down to the bottom, underneath the insane asylum. Keep your wits about you while you got them, cause your wits are first to go while you're problem solving. And my problem We glorify those even more when they... My opinion, our culture can treat a loss like it's a win. And right before we turn on them, we give them the highest of praise and hang the banner from a ceiling. Communicating further, engraving an earlier grave is an optional way. No. Beyond gravestones, try to call. Beyond gravestones, try to call for my bones. Call, call, call. My problem, don't get it twisted. It's with the people we praise who may have assisted. I could use the streams and extra conversations. I could give up and boost up my reputation. I could go out with a bang, they would know my name. They would host and post a celebration. My opinion will not be lenient. My opinion, it's real convenient. Our words are loud, but now I'm talking action. We don't get enough love, well they get a fraction. They say, how could he go if he's got everything? I'll mourn for a kid, but won't cry for a king. Beyond gravestones, try to call. Beyond gravestones, try to call for my bones. Call, call. Promise me this. If I lose to myself, you won't mourn a day, and you move on to someone else.
This part made me cry.
Promise me this. If I lose to myself, you won't mourn a day, and you move on to someone else.
The production on the song is really cool too. But yeah, I feel like this is opening up a conversation which people haven't had. And this song, I don't know when it came out. This song came out in 2018, so it came out a while ago. But I don't know, man. I'm glad that there's people out there who are willing and not afraid to share this perspective, because it's an important one, I think. Anyway.
Gravestones, try to call. Beyond gravestones, try to call for my bones. Beyond gravestones, try to call. Beyond gravestones, try to call for my bones. They won't get 'em. No, they won't get 'em. They won't get 'em. But they won't get 'em. Don't get me wrong, the rise in awareness is beating a stigma that no longer scares us. But for sake of discussion and spirit of fairness, could we give this some room for a new point of view? And could it be true that some could be tempted to use this mistake as a form of aggression, a form of succession, a form of a weapon, thinking I'll teach them while I'm refusing the lesson? It won't resonate in our minds. I'm not disrespecting what was left behind, just pleading that it does not get glorified. Maybe we swap out what it is that we hold so high. Find your grandparents or someone of age. Pay some respects for the path that they paved, to life they were dedicated. Now that should be celebrated.
Yeah, this song's beautiful. And okay, stop it before it goes into the next track. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult for me to really put into words the emotions that I felt and the thoughts that I had when listening to this the other day, because it's a very difficult subject to even like broach, you know? And with, you know, my own experience with this type of stuff, secondhand experience with it, and then seeing how certain forms of media do exactly what he's talking about, where it like, I don't know a different word to use. I don't really want to say glorifies it, but that's kind of what it is. So I'm just going to say that. And yeah, that last line is it really. Don't get me wrong, the rise in awareness is beating a stigma that no longer scares us, but for the sake of discussion in the spirit of fairness, could we give this some room for a new point of view? Here it is said that the rise in awareness that is occurring is a good thing. The mental health awareness and the empathy and the compassion is good. Like I 1,000,000% agree with that. With this rise, we have also seen an explosion of emo culture, which has rendered the topic of suicide as commonplace and in some cases glorified. Our society normalized suicide along with mental illness. Words such as depression, anxiety disorder, and suicide should not be thrown around lightly or used yeah. He's asking the audience to open their minds and listen to a different view of suicide. We should keep the discussion open and see the rise in awareness and use the rise in awareness to combat mental illness instead of, normalizing it in such a way that we normalize toxicity. It's not something to be spoken about casually, and nor is it something that should emerge as a trendy thing to do. Could it be true that some could be tempted to use this mistake as a form of aggression, a form of succession, a form of a weapon, thinking I'll teach them while I'm refusing the lesson? Tyler is worried that there could be people who are using suicide as a form of attention. It's so glorified that people do it in hopes of being noticed, following in someone's footsteps who took their own life and was horribly idolized for it. Some may think they will get back at others by leaving a note that explains who's responsible for their death, when really they're just taking it away from themselves. This brings to mind the role entertainment media is now playing in this discussion. 13 Reasons Why is exactly what I thought of. Holy cow, they brought it up. Yes, using suicide as a weapon is now being used as the premise of television shows popular with children and young adults, such as 13 Reasons Why, which debuted in 2017. The show follows Clay Jensen, who listens to 13 tapes by his friend Hannah Baker, explaining why she took her own life. The show was criticized for dramatizing suicide, as pointed out by Zoe Williams in an article for The Guardian. It's revenge fantasy, and it portrays suicide as an act that will achieve something. And when the media is showing this act in that light, it's not I don't think that it's a very healthy thing, like, and that's why it's difficult to talk about this stuff, is because it's a fine line, between glorifying something or between just bringing more awareness to something, which is what I feel like a lot of different types of media try to do. They try to bring awareness and try to, end the stigma. That's a good thing, and that's something that should be applauded. That's something I respect, and as a person who's had, as someone who's also known many people who've had many different struggles with different forms of mental illness, it helps different types of media help people to understand. But I've never heard anything that took this stance on things where it's like, in my opinion, at the end of the day, if you take your own life as some revenge fantasy, how are you going to be there to enjoy the revenge even? As sick as even that sounds, but like, it's done, like, that's a lost life. And for what? And if they didn't care about what you had to say while you were alive, a lot of times they don't care about what you have to say after you're gone either. I actually wrote into this. I have a web series that I'm making all by myself. Actually, no, my mom's helping me with camera stuff, so there's that. But yeah, so the second episode is written, and I'm currently filming it. There's a part where the main character kind of rants about this specific thing a little bit, and I remember when writing it, I thought to myself, why is there nothing that talks about this in this way? I can't be the only person who thinks that it's weird that it's so It's seen as such a normal thing. And then I heard this song, and yeah. So anyway, it won't resonate in our minds. I'm not disrespecting what was left behind, just pleading it does not get glorified. Tyler's sharing that the lesson explained in the previous annotation will not be taught to him or his listeners. He doesn't want the first thought that comes to mind to be of suicide when trying to teach someone a lesson on bullying. Tyler's trying to make it clear that while he means no disrespect to the lives of victims of suicide, he doesn't want suicide to be glorified and used by the general public as a threat. He would rather it not be thought at the first sign of any sort of sadness, but instead an example of what we should never go to. And this could be another shot at the Netflix original series, which deals with suicide. The show was publicized to young viewers and caught attention of the media. Yep. Maybe swap out what we hold so high. Find your grandparents or someone of age and pay respects for the path that they paved to life they were dedicated, and that should be celebrated. Glorify someone's life, not their death. Rather than fixating on death, honor our heroes' lives and focus on the amazing things they've done in their life. Don't wait for their funeral to speak. In a 2018 interview with Alt Press, Tyler commented on those lines, revealing that he still finds great comfort when looking at the cover of Vessel, which featured Josh and Tyler's grandfathers. Those are two guys that we looked up to for seeing life all the way through. That's the kind of thing I see motivating and encouraging. It's something I look at for inspiration in those moments where I don't want to move on, or if I don't think that I can. Celebrating those who remained committed to life is precisely what Tyler does on Trench's penultimate track, Legend, a celebration of Robert Joseph, Tyler's paternal grandfather, who passed away during Trench's production. And like, he has, this problem as well, and that's why this bridge also stood out to me, because I've heard other artists in the past say stuff like, will you care if I end it all? Are you still going to care about me? Like asking, like I've heard artists basically in their songs say, I'm going to end my life and I want you all to be sad about it. And Tyler basically like writes himself a failsafe almost. Like because he said before that he has, all types of struggles with mental illness. And he says, promise me this, if I lose to myself, don't mourn a day, move on to somebody else. And that's almost motivation for him too, Here Tyler asks his loved ones and fans not to mourn his death if he commits suicide. And in this way furthers the idea seen in the final verse where he asks listeners to honor people for the time they spent living. In context of Trench, he also shared an interview with the Discord clique that the goal of the bishop's religion in Dema Vialism is to get people to kill themselves and then glorify this act. By asking people not to mourn for his life, he rebels against the bishops and culture of Dema. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so again, I just want to clarify one last time that I think that it's a good thing when awareness is spread, and I feel like and there are lots and lots of people who struggle with this every day, and there are lots of people who find comfort in media that they can relate to. I've just personally witnessed multiple people get like sucked down a wormhole of self-loathing and I don't know, wallowing from different forms of media that are, in my opinion, less than totally healthy. That's not to say that those types of media shouldn't be created, or that anything like that should be censored or anything like that. I'm just glad that this exists. And yeah, this video went on way, way longer than I intended it to. I just want to say thank you for listening if you're still here at the end. And I hope that if you do struggle with this, I'm going to, put any resources I can find down below in the description and say, hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I hope that you're doing well. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Deathstroke 9 out. Stay tuned for more videos. Let me know what else. Actually, that's a great. All right, so I listened to Trench, and I've heard some songs off Blurry Face. Let me know if there's any other songs by 21 Pilots that I should check out, since I know very little of their discography. Let me know if there's songs with like deeper meanings like this one too, because a lot of the songs that I heard off of Blurry Face were good, but also pretty like repetitive in a way that was, you know, just okay, I guess. So if I'm wondering if maybe they're older stuff, or I know they just came out with a new album, so if anything has like more substance to it, I guess, let me know. And I also know that they have a very dedicated and large fan base, so I'm sure y'all can help me out. All right, thanks for watching. Deathstroke 9 out.